Hey everyone, and welcome back to the show. In this episode, we're talking with Cecilia Enriquez of the band Sisters of Black Mountain. We're going to hear all about how the band got its start and the story behind their recent single, Spirits of the Dead.
We'll also talk about the 3 steps it takes to launching your own band, whether or not a career in music is still possible, as well as the role AI plays in the music industry and where it's going to settle. Citywide Blackout starts right now.
Welcome to Citywide Blackout, the place where writers, musicians, and creators from cities all over the world come to hang out, dive into their works, peel back the curtain on their creative process, and provide knowledgeable, actionable insight that you can apply to your own creative masterpieces. With decades of journalism, media, and entertainment industry experience, your hosts Max Bowen and Curtis Hughes provide fun, informative, and sometimes outrageously bizarre interviews that will keep you enlightened and entertained with a few F-bombs thrown in for emphasis. So put up your feet, grab a beverage, and let's go.
Well, Cecilia, I want to say first off, thank you so much for joining us for this conversation. Curtis and I have both been listening to your music, absolutely loving Spirits of the Dead. Great song. Amazing music video, but I want to just open by talking about how Sisters of Black Mountain came to be.
Oh, thank you so much. Sisters of Black Mountain started during COVID. I was doing St. Cecilia, and a friend that plays bass asked if we wanted to start a side project. We tried to jam and stuff, and I'm not really that great at jamming. I'm more like writing songs by myself and like kind of just like being in my own head. It wasn't happening. Nothing was actually coming out. And then I just wrote a couple songs at home and I brought them to her. I was like, hey, do you want to like lay down some bass on this? And yeah, that's how it started. Out of nowhere, it just started I just started getting these ideas for these songs that were a little darker than what I was doing. And yeah, I mean, that's how it started.
So, how would you say that this sort of transition happened, going from like Saint Cecilia into Sisters of Black Mountain, in terms of like learning a new style and doing what was a very different thing?
It does seem like it's a new style. It kind of just feels like me. It doesn't really feel like a new style, but I can see how that happens externally, how it kind of looks externally. I just did the same thing as I always do. I just like write. Usually I'll get an idea for like vocals and like harmonies. I'll hear harmonies like coming in and like keyboards, so I'll just sit down and like record all the different little things that I hear. Like I'll do a rhythm guitar, and then I'll like lay down some vocals, and it was so seamless that I guess I didn't really notice the difference. The one thing that I can say is that I was paying attention to more of the like the darker influences in the horror movies that I was into. All the like giallo movies, but not just giallo, but like a lot of like Stanley Kubrick. And I don't like who Roman Polanski is, but I love Rosemary's Baby, the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And just like stuff like that, and like vocals that are dreamy and intros and outros that are kind of cinematic, that I'm in my mind are cinematic. And yeah, I was just kind of like really inspired by all that stuff. And at the same time, the bass player who I was jamming with was really into Ghost, and I hadn't really listened to them. Like I knew of them, but I hadn't really listened to them, and started watching their videos, and I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. It's cinematic. And like, just, I really liked the lore. Yeah, I just started getting ideas and feeling like the vibe growing for the project.
I love that you mentioned Ghost. They are a fantastic band and they are just awesome to see live. I've seen them twice and they're just amazing. And I can totally relate to how you feel, when you first see them, either live or like through a music video or something like that for the first time, and how that impacts you. Sisters of Black Mountain versus Saint Cecilia. How would you say that stylistically, in terms of the writing, that they would compare? Like, I'm guess my sense here is that Sisters of Black Mountain is much darker, but like how so? Is it like an angry dark, or just basically from just your horror influences?
Thematically, yeah, the horror influences and stuff, but also I feel the vibe and like what I'm talking about. There's a lot of like songs about demons. Saint Cecilia is I'm still writing stuff for that. But it's more like 60s Brit poppy. I mean, in my mind, that's what I'm influenced by. And like Belle and Sebastian. But I can say Belle and Sebastian kind of like also is an influence for Sisters of Black Mountain. It's all in the vocals and the vocal harmonies. And because I'm sure they were influenced by like Simon and Garfunkel. And I also am. I really like them. Their vocals, their harmonies are like beautiful. Mamas and the Papas. So I think that kind of carries over to Sisters as well. But just like visually and like the music kind of started shifting. The Saint Cecilia music started shifting in. I'm going to name some tracks I know people won't know. Inward Out is one of the tracks that were possibly going to be on a darker album if I had made one with Saint Cecilia, Inward Out, and When Something Breaks. Those songs were kind of like more influenced by Ennio Morricone. Fabio, and at the time I wasn't thinking Fabio Frizzi, but I was thinking about soundtracky kind of stuff for Saint Cecilia, and those ended up on the entrance album for Saint Cecilia. But those could have easily been Sisters of Black Mountain songs, because I was starting to get into like not worrying about it being a catchy 3-minute pop song and it having intros, outros, and like instrumentals in the middle. Before, it was for Saint Cecilia, it was more like, yeah, just catchy pop and shorter songs. I think they're just different in the way I am more interested in experimenting and changing the arrangements, maybe like the arrangement, the way you would arrange a pop song. I still think it's poppy, so I don't want to like close that door for us. But yeah.
Excellent. And so your most recent single here, Spirits of the Dead, which by the way is a great title. Absolutely love it. The song is awesome too. What is the story behind that? Can you give us more of a background on it?
So parts of the song, it's kind of a patchwork, actually, if I really think about it. Parts of the song we're talking about, because I'm singing. So I had this like out of body experience, and I ended up feeling like I was floating out of my body and about to touch the ceiling. And then I felt like something pulled me out of my window. And I decided to put that in the song. That was actually me writing about, it was about a love spell gone wrong, actually. Yeah. So it's kind of a patchwork. What I ended up wanting to do with the music video was to kind of create a story that's going to tie into some lore later on. But yeah, when I wrote it, I wasn't really specifically thinking of anything, mostly because I just kind of let whatever words come out, sort of like a stream of consciousness type of thing.
I want to ask about the music video because I was watching that prior to this conversation, and this is amazing. This was written, this was directed and edited by Simon Cardoza. And you mentioned the more like classic horror influences, like Dario Argento is a big one. And having seen a couple of his movies, I saw that in this music video.
Yay.
But I like to ask about what went into just like planning everything, just the casting and the settings, and how did this whole thing come together?
The inspiration behind it, really.
Yeah.
There we go.
Simon's okay for me saying this, but at first I always, and because I'm not a director, I always end up wanting to hire like cameramen and then like take on the directing part, but it's a bit hard. So the idea for this I just started getting ideas of what I wanted it to look like. First of all, I wanted it to look dreamy. I wanted it to look like a mix of like, I know a lot of people know Suspiria, but I really like Inferno by Dario Argento. And yeah, I just started getting ideas for a music video. So there's a story that I was getting outside of this music video, which is, so the crystal ball that it shows at the beginning of the video with on the candelabra. I don't know if you noticed that because the images go pretty fast. Okay.
Mhm.
So that's going to be it's not a cursed object, but it's got the spirit of two witches, which are the sisters of the witch that the girl goes to get the reading from. The spirit of the witches are there. They got burned at the stake in a past life. It's going to tie into a bigger picture, basically. But the easy thing to do for the video was to have this girl cast a love spell on a guy, and then, it just wanted it to be a horror music video, basically. I'm making it too difficult, but it's going to tie into a bigger story later. Trying to plan out some skits. Yeah. I'm looking to see what I can do, just maybe like on social media with an iPhone if I could.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I just love the overall flow of it. It was a great story, well told. Mm-hmm. I mean, Simon did a fantastic job, and like the ending, which I won't spoil. You want to check it out, folks. Mm-hmm. The ending is really, really good. But Cecilia, I want to ask next about what is a Sisters of Black Mountain live show like? Because I've seen some images on your Instagram and your Facebook. I'm curious about the folks who might see, oh, they're playing tonight. I'm going to go check them out. What's that like?
Right, at the moment, it's very straightforward. We're just coming out and playing. I have plans to make it more theatrical, add some other things, but at the moment I can't. So it's just pretty straightforward. We're just playing our songs.
That's cool.
We wear horns, and like, if I can get the guys to wear their cloaks, they never want to. It's really hard to get them to wear their cloaks. I'm like, people want to see it. They think they might look dumb. It's just a matter of the people that are playing with us, that like, the girls are all down to like dress up and do things. It's usually just
hey, you know what? If you ever need someone to just be on stage in cloaks, Curtis and I will volunteer.
I would love that. If you guys want to. I've been wanting to do this thing actually where people come out with incense and like maybe hitting some bells and like doing it in cloaks, and just walking in, and then just have like an intro song, like a little bit of an intro that we have recorded. I have this thing that we haven't used yet. It was going to be part of Amdusius, the song. But we took the intro and we did something like other vocals on top of it. I still haven't put it out. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. But I was like, maybe we can use that as an intro while we walk on the stage, make it more like theatrical. But yeah, I mean, if you guys ever wanted to do that, I would be so down.
I am totally down with being
road trip, Curtis.
Road trip druid guy, and just like slow walk.
There's so many ideas. So many ideas. I have all these Halloween costumes at home, actually. A lot of them with a more like demonic lean.
Yes.
So there we go. I found my use.
Yes, that would be so amazing.
Okay, so for those looking to launch their own band, what would be 3 ideal steps?
I would say start with recording some music and putting it out. Obviously, social media, get your social media going. Yeah, and just post your music. I even have a hard time doing it. I feel like when I want to make a post like on social media, I want to like use other people's music sometimes. And like everyone recommends, no, don't do that, because the audience you're trying to cultivate is an audience that likes your music, not that likes someone else's music. And because you have your friends following you, you have your family following you, you have your like, people, you don't want to seem like you're like all about yourself, but the people that are actually there to listen to your music do want to hear your music. So that's what I have to keep telling myself. So that's what I'm going to tell the people that are listening to this, because yeah, you do have to post your music.
Absolutely. So get yourself out there, network.
Yes.
All the great things. Yep. Let me ask you this. Do you think making music as a career is still possible? And if so, how do we make that happen?
But I do think so, and I'm going to keep trying to do it.
You can't give up. It's definitely trickier these days, but I think it's about just thinking flexibly. Speaking of these days, Cecilia, we're going to be talking about artificial intelligence. Of course, everyone's talking about it. There's a lot of concern, especially in the artistic industry, But I want to get your thoughts on the role the AI is kind of playing when it comes to music now and how the whole thing might settle at some point in time.
I don't want to diss anybody, but like I really don't like AI music. I don't think that I think it's stealing from the artist because you don't even know what it's training
Hmm.
on. So that's my initial like. Yeah, I don't really like it. So I would never use it. I think that I don't want to say never because if I ever work with I know there are tools that people use that have AI. I don't know where it's going to wind up. Yeah, and I don't
Right.
know where it's going to go, but I do think that I hope that they figure out a way where it's not going to steal from people.
I get you. I
Yeah,
get you. I know that like right now we're seeing a lot of like doomsday scenarios, like, oh, it's gonna be the end of the music industry, it's gonna be the end of the writing industry. Do you worry about that kind of stuff much, or do you think that's just, people blowing things out of proportion?
if it continues and if there's no like consent, like that's not
Hmm.
cool. I just think that it should be very transparent, and I think people should have to say if it's AI. I don't think that it should be treated the same as. I just don't think it should exist. I'm sorry.
Exactly. No, no, no. Hey,
Right.
I am in full agreement.
Apologize.
I'm in full
Yeah.
agreement. I mean, like you hear like certain companies are saying, "Oh yeah, we're going to totally allow AI created art." It's like, but that's not art. You're
Yeah.
entering things into a prompt. That's not the same thing as actually creating something with your own two hands, with your own mind, pouring your heart into something. But that is my extent of the AI talk, and we'll move on to the next question.
Well, almost, because I want to get 2 cents put in here real quick.
Yeah.
We're almost there,
Well,
Curtis.
if it helps, okay.
Yeah.
Well, anytime we bring up the subject of AI and its role in the entertainment industry, whether it's music, writing, whatever, right? It's heavily predicated and focused on audio and music right now.
Yeah.
And I am totally in agreement with everybody here when it's like it doesn't have a place in terms of being, completely digitally created with absolute like no humans and then putting it out on streaming platform for consumption and all that stuff. There's two ways that this will go, and it's already leaning in a split. First, there's a big AI company called SUNO, and I'm not going to say the name, I'm just spelling it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Reason why I bring that up is because that's what most folks use. But I just read an article yesterday that they just lost a pretty big copyright infringement case overseas.
Ooh.
They did not have exclusive rights to, use the training on a lot of and I think it was Germany songs. We're already starting to see the split happening. I think by and large that folks that use that particular sort of AI tool, it's going to be quelled, it's going to be capped at some point, and it's going to be restricted.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, there are also plenty of other not to be named AI tools that are out there that certainly help if folks know how to use them in terms of assisting and aiding with music production, in terms of cleaning up audio, getting rid of proper EQing and things like that. So there certainly is a place, and there certainly isn't a place. That being said, let's talk about finding your sound. What should people keep in mind when they're looking to find their sonic identity?
In terms of finding your sound, I think just be super authentic about what really interests you, because that's going to power through. That's going to, if you're having a hard time, it's because you're trying to do what you think other people are going to like. Music is the one thing where I don't do that in my life. I kind of like, yeah, I've been a people pleaser and like I'm trying to get out of that. But it's the one thing where just be super authentic, because the love you feel for whatever the things that inspire you, that love that you feel, and that like the want to go see like the band that you like and the movies that you like and like everything, that love will come through. That will come through the music. If you really like what you're doing, if you're just trying to create something for content, for like, yeah, if you're not authentic with it, it's just not gonna. I don't think people are going to. I mean, maybe somebody will like it, but you will find your audience. finding your identity, I think it'll just be easier.
It's easy to like chase the trends, and especially when it comes to things like social media. Like we're always chasing that trend. Like, oh, what's popular on TikTok right now? Let's do that same thing.
Yeah.
But if it's not who you really are, it's not going to work.
I'm not opposed to using trends and stuff, as long as if you're talking about your music identity, just be super authentic to what you love. And if you do that, you're just gonna like feel so happy when you're making it. If you feel like, I'm not saying copy something, I'm just saying like,
Yeah. We all have influences, right? Every musician has like, oh, I was influenced by like so and so. So certainly what you listen to factors into who you are. But again, I think it's like you said, Cecilia, it's about being authentic, it's about being honest, and it's about being true to like who you are when it comes to making your music.
I love this next question I'm going to ask because we've heard so many different variations of this, but it's different and unique every single time. What do you feel would be the best way to learn the craft of music?
Okay, so I gotta say, I play by ear. I learned by ear. What works for me? Okay, it's all just like being excited about even learning guitar was like because I was excited about Radiohead when I discovered Radiohead. And like I wanted to figure out how to play. I had never played guitar, and so I wanted to figure out how to play. It's one where there's finger picking, and I was just like, pick it up, and I'm just like trying to like hear everything, every note, and stop it. Like I'll hear the note, try to find it on the guitar. Next note. That's how I did it. That's how I did it. Just like stuff that I love. I was so excited about it that it made me pick up an instrument.
Well, Celia, we are coming down to the end of this conversation, but a couple more questions remain. We talked earlier about like first steps, about getting yourself rolling as an artist. Once you get rolling, you get some songs kind of under your belt, you play some shows. How do you grow? How do you grow as a band? But also, how do you kind of grow that fan base?
Yeah, just posting. And lately, my new bandmate Jamie and I have been like making little flyers and posting them like old school, like going out and posting them like in Echo Park and like Silver
I
Lake.
love it.
We won't hand them out because like there's no like I don't want to be out there like handing out flyers, but we will put them on like posts and stuff like that. Or I know she's gone into coffee shops and put our stuff in there, and like that's the kind of thing that I like, that I think is cool. But yeah, I mean the social media really it's like a big deal. So posting on TikTok, posting on Instagram, making reels, just getting creative with how you post it, I guess. Right now the text on screen is like a trend. So I do that sometimes, not every time. There's that. And what else? Just playing shows, networking, making friends with people.
I like that. Well, Cecilia Enriquez, I want to say thanks once again for joining us. We had an absolute blast talking. And certainly, folks, if you're liking what you're hearing here, here's what you do, okay? It's very simple. First off, you go to Spotify. You look up Sisters of Black Mountain. Easy to find. Follow them. Look up St. Cecilia. Follow that too. And I'm certainly looking forward to the next time you and I get to sit down and talk more music.
Yes. Thank you so much for inviting me. This was so fun.
Thanks for listening to this episode, and please subscribe, rate, and review us on your favorite podcast platform. It ensures you never miss an episode and helps our ranking, allowing others to discover the podcast more easily.
If you really liked it, please share it with a friend and join our Citywide Blackout Facebook community, along with following us on Instagram at CitywideMax and at Citywide Interviews.
I'm your host, Max Bowen.
And I'm Curtis Hughes.
And we'll see you all next time.